And so on Thursdays, take the last half hour of the show and we go to Seattle and his new studio space, which is developing as we see. See, and he's even with his new studio, he's not even wearing the hat anymore because it's a studio space and he feels like I don't it's like you don't want to wear the hat indoors, but now it's a studio space and he's looking all official and everything. How are you, my friend? Welcome aboard for another Thursday as we go Thursdays with Nico.
Hey, what's going on, John? It is a beautiful day in my neighborhood.
Mhm.
Thank you for asking. And yes, I mean, no lid just because when I get a haircut, I just figured, man, if I'm spending that much money on a haircut, I got to start using it a little more.
Yeah,
So
okay.
once it gets a little, long, then I'll go back to the hat.
Mhm.
But for sure, right now, we are trying to keep it without the lid. But uh, it's always happy to be on, John. It is my second cup of Joe.
Thank you.
We got studio space. I was trying to figure out the lighting because I feel like this top light gives me this
Yeah,
kind of
well,
like
what you
shadow.
yeah, because you might need a key light, something like either like right here because my lighting setup is like this. I have, you've got your key light up top. You've got your key light up here. I have and that's back there. I have a fill light to my left and I have a fill light to my right. And so I can turn down the volume of the light to my left, which is going directly into my face, and the light to my right, is the one that I can bounce off of my table and kind of make sure that folks don't see how fat I am under here. And so literally it's top of the head, right in the face, bounce, and up here. So that's literally I've kind of triangulated this setup and that's how I don't have the reflection down here is because it's a glass table and light number 3 bounces off of that and comes and hits right here. So that's
I need to figure out the lighting, man. That's those are pro tips right there. I need some right here because I
mhm.
swear it gives me this weird wrinkle right here. I'm not that wrinkly. I swear to you, I'm
It's
not.
so lights on either side and maybe something that bounces from underneath to kind of neutralize the dark that's there with the desk. So that's what you're as you build your studio space, light, and then maybe something that bounces to where it's like that. So that's your lighting tip for the day.
Oh, my man. I love it, man. But you know
So,
what?
mhm.
You're coming in crisp. I hope I'm sounding all right.
You are.
And man, there is a bunch of things to talk about with MLS, of course, the red hot sounders. So yeah, man, let's do it.
All right, so let's go back to that 4 spot that got put on LAG. I know that LAG was kind of sitting there and puffing their chest out a little bit because of what they've been able to do recently. And then all of a sudden, you brought out what is commonly referred to in some parts as the whooping stick. And it started off with the Aude own goal. Musovsky again with a brace. Brunel, and this was a cool moment. He comes in late as a sub and he gets his first ever goal with 5 to play. So there were a lot of really cool things that broke down in this one as Seattle put 4 on LAG.
Yeah, look, the Seattle Sounders just are running in all cylinders, I would say.
Mhm.
They were coming from some gritty performances, and then they went to Los Angeles on the road, and I thought they dominated 80 to 90% of that game. Um, they were able to rotate, which was important for Brian Smetzer. They were able to rotate before the Galaxy game. Then they play with what I would like to think is their best 11. That's obviously with the injuries that they currently have.
Mhm.
Ferreira gets his. Brian kind of gave me some clapback yesterday about me calling Ferreira's first time really running the 10. And the reason why I said that is just because this is a different Sounders team. This is a team that's running a lot smoother. I know that he's kind of had cameos there at the 10. And, he's played the dual cam, but on the 4-2-3-1 with this current form in play, this was Ferreira's first shot replacing Albert Rusnak. And I thought he did it fantastically. Maybe not perfectly, but I thought that he was very effective on the ball. There's a couple of things that he still needs to get used to. We talked to Jesus yesterday. He said he has to kind of learn the role a little bit because there's a lot more bodies on that left side compared to when it's just him and Alex on the right side. Talked about Pedro, talked about Christian, talked about just the way that left side moves a lot differently, but I thought he did well. You talk about Masovsky, a guy that just seems to be at the right place at the right time. He might not be the prolific nine that you might see on the other teams. He's definitely not a DP nine, but he's an effective nine, and he has 12 goals, all comms. And sometimes you need a poacher, and that's what he does. And then you talked about Schneider Brunel, a guy that you're going to need to get a lot of minutes off. You're going to need to rotate those two pivots that have the most minutes on the team in Obed and Christian Roldan. And so it was great to see a guy like Schneider. That my biggest praise would be that he understands the game at a different level, that he plays beyond his years. You could see by the goal that he had there late in the game that he's part of the buildup, part of the possession spell. His movement is right where it needs to be. And then once that ball goes all the way to the right side, where Alex Roldan gets to the end line, he understands that Georgia Benungu's dragging some defenders, and he just got to stay back, open up a channel. He's an option there, and then he puts it away. So that is after he had an opportunity in front of goal. Maybe not as clear, but he just skies it. So I love to see a player that kind of forgets about what happened. The shot did not go my way. I'm going to stay on. I'm going to stay engaged. And then he gets a good goal there for the fourth of the day. I also thought Paul Rothrock was very good. The Havoc brothers are back. Paul Rothrock on the right, Pedro de la Vega on the left. I think that is a combination for success as we wait for Albert Russick to get back, who, oh, by the way, we were told that it will be out at least 4 weeks going from the day of the injury, so still some time. So yeah, man, I thought that it was a very good win for the Seattle Sounders, who right next to Orlando, I would say are the two teams in best form. They're the two red hot teams right now in MLS, one on the east side, one on the west side. Clearly two different builds of roster, two different approaches to the game, but both are the best teams right now in terms of current form.
I was going to ask, since you seem to be reading my notes, what is the injury updates across the board? You mentioned Rusnak. What about all the others for you?
Yes, that is a great question. We were told by Brian Smetzer that Ryan Kent would be out 10 to 12 weeks. That puts you at the end of the season. That's a tough break for Ryan Kent, specifically because he is in a short-term contract. He has an option for next year. I highly doubt that the Sounders are going to have any way to really assess this adequately and say come back next year. The only way I would see Ryan King coming back next year is if he has no other options anywhere else, and instead of that million plus that he probably has as an option for next year, if he could come back on 500, 450, and he's like, I like Seattle, I like the team, let me come back and just try to continue to get my rhythm back, then I could see him coming back. But aside from that, I do not foresee that happening. Joe Paulo is another guy that we were told that the injury wasn't as bad as it was, that the ACL was intact, that it was more of a knee cleaning, but we haven't seen him out on the training grounds. Brian said that he will be at training or on the field today, so we'll see where that goes. But I do not expect, we don't have a timeline right now, but I do not expect JP to be back starting or even playing partial minutes for at least another 2 weeks at the very least, at the earliest convenience. Aside from that, Hawkins seems to be ready to come back. Stefan Fry is all good and well. It's just been coach's decision to keep Thomas on goal, but I'm waiting for Steph to come back. So I'd hope that decision gets made sooner rather than later, and I would expect him to be the Minnesota option for the Seattle Sounders. But that's kind of the biggest injury updates there.
You mentioned Seattle, so I'll go ahead as one of the top teams currently in form. I'll go ahead and skip to the other action that's going on. You mentioned the purple team, and so we got to talk about the purple team and what happened with them taking on Messi and friends, and it was another case of the whooping stick coming out, and it has now seemingly forced another move with the time left in the window to try and bring in yet another central defender for Inter Miami. It looks like Piovi. If Redondo is heading to Elche, it looks like Piovi is being discussed from Cruz Azul to help them things at the back, because Lord knows they need help at the back. Orlando brings out another whooping stick, and once again, the absence of Messi plus the absence of a back line is proving issues for the Herons right now.
And the fact that Orlando is just the boogeyman for Inter Miami, I mean, it's plain and simple. They have Inter Miami has been unable to beat Orlando at home. I think that Orlando is one of the most talented rosters in MLS, and their DPS are collectively playing at the best form of any other team in MLS, right? When we talk about Marco Pasalic, when we talk about Martin Ojeda and Luis Muriel, who looks like the Luis Muriel that we thought we were getting a year ago, right? The Udinese Luis Muriel, the Napoli Luis Muriel. We thought that we were getting a different type of player there with Luis Muriel, and now he's playing at that level. That helps everything else out because you got Luis Enrique coming off from the bench. But it all kind of goes through Martin Ojeda. Martin Ojeda is a guy that, with Facundo Torres leaving, it was going to be his team. He was going to be the face of the attack. He was going to be that guy that was going to put it all together. And he's done fantastic. He's another guy that I felt like maybe was put in the wrong position. They tried him out right, they tried him out left, when we all knew that he should have been a 10 the whole time. And that has worked great for Orlando. So between the way they're equipped and a team that I feel like when it comes to playing in Miami, they have no fear. Actually, they want to go out there and disrespect Inter Miami consistently. It works in their advantage, man. So credit to Papi. Oscar Pereira has the team running excellent. I'd say that, they always get me, though. I'm always really high on Orlando, and they disappoint me. But you know what? It's like I'm back. I'm back on that corner. So we'll see how they do for the rest of the year. But I think that they're a team that could surprise everybody there in the playoffs. And I don't know if surprise is the word because they're red hot right now, but they just have a lot of tools in from front to back. They're just quality. They're balanced right now.
And other results that might have raised the people's eyebrow last weekend: Colorado goes to Minnesota, gets a result against the Loons, and Darren Yapi with the brace in a very short period of time. We had Matt Pollard on from Burgundy Wave to do a little Oppo research as Atlanta heads out to Colorado, but they get the win in Minnesota. San Jose beats Vancouver at home. Thomas Mueller had his grand welcoming at the airport, or actually that's tonight, I think. The grand welcoming at the airport, where basically, it was last night. No, it's last night. That's right. It was last night, just in time for the 6:00 news in Vancouver. And literally, it's one of those things where, hey, he's at this concourse. Here's where he's getting out. No Q&A, but hey, if you want to see him take his tote bag and his carry-on down the aisle, you can certainly shoot that video. So Mueller is there. Vancouver, if they get Mueller on the same page with everybody else, that could be some filthy stuff going on there, but they lose to San Jose, and you're looking at that one. And then I think probably one of the big surprises of the weekend, All Caps beating Nashville at Energizer Park. Yeonmin Son premieres in a 2-2 draw in Bridgeview against Chicago Fire. What else stuck with you from the weekend?
From the weekend, obviously, the LAFC draw, Chicago Suns debut. I thought it was excellent. Displayed a lot of what he's going to provide for LAFC, specifically in transition. I mean, the guy has the pace, has the soccer IQ. He has the leadership to come into a game and just change it completely. I think that him and Bouanga, once they find their rhythm, and once they stay away from each other's areas, because they do seem to occupy the same areas, I
Yeah.
think they're going to be troublesome. I thought Philadelphia was disappointing, dropping points against Toronto. Seemed like they had that game under control. Obviously, they end up winning here midweek in Open Cup. But I thought that was disappointing last weekend. San Diego seems to once again want to try to be the San Diego of early this season. Obviously, it was against Sporting Kansas City, but it was good to see Chucky be involved, get a golazo, then Dryer, not kicking people from the ground anymore and scoring some goals. And trying to keep his MVP race alive. And then Portland, of course, that's another team that is just in ups and downs. They're obviously trying to boost up their roster, but no Santiago Moreno. Anthony's back, which is good, but that's a team that I'm still trying to decipher moving forward. And like you mentioned, Vancouver, for me, I still believe. I still believe that Vancouver could put it together. That Brian White's gonna figure it out. That Mueller's gonna come help out. So we'll see what happens with Vancouver. But that was a disappointing loss against San Jose, nonetheless. That late in the game, but they should have had that game.
All right, that's halftime here with our buddy Nico Moreno from Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart. And so, since it is halftime, before we go into cliffhanger for the matches coming up this weekend, our buddy Del Schaefer, who watches us and listens to us from Charleston, South Carolina, has a question for you, sir.
All right.
Does Nico think any of the Sounders will be picked for USMNT games, potential for Morris Ferreira or Cristian to play in the World Cup? Question mark. What do you think?
Oh man, that is a tough question because the USMNT fan base can bark pretty hard whenever we talk about Sounders or just MLS players getting into the team. But I would say that
No, USMNT fans barking about certain players? No, come on now.
But I would say that Cristian Roldan is the one and only player that I feel like could be used to just bring that midfield together. He's a very versatile player. He's probably right now the best six in MLS. I'll say that without trying to ruffle too many feathers. But you saw him in the Club World Cup. I mean, he was by far the Sounders' best player, playing against the best of the best. PSG, Atletico, Botafogo. The guy was lights out. I think that he has truly embodied that position. He's playing confident. He's playing physical. He's a guy that is going to win you most of the duels, ground duels. That he's a guy that has a very good way to contribute, pushing the ball forward. I think that a guy like Cristian Roldan that is willing to be a team player and do whatever it takes to win. You could put him anywhere on the field that he's going to perform. He's going to give you 110%. I feel like he's the guy that I would, without a doubt, say needs to be in not just the conversation. I think he needs to be with the U.S. national team because right now, man, this team is lacking a little bit of heart. The Jimmy McGetty, right? What do you need to succeed? Right here, right? That's what you need right now. And Cristian Roldan has miles and miles of heart, baby. I mean, that's what Cristian has, man. Is that the Shane Falco attitude, man? So I would say that out of all the players that you just mentioned, he's the one. Jesus obviously still trying to get his traction back, and at some point, maybe in the future, he could be a possibility. But right now, the only player that I think has a real shot to getting into the USMNT team is Cristian Roldan.
Jimmy McGinty is anything but a typical coach, Pat. We know this. Follow up from Dell, assuming Jordan Morris won't go to Europe again at this point of his career. Yes, no? You think?
Oh, no. No. That ship has sailed. And it, it's unfortunate because I feel like Jordan Morris could very easily be one of the unluckiest guys that when it comes to injuries, they're just the timing of him, right? I mean, he goes to Swansea. You feel like he's gonna, be able to finally break through in Europe, and he doesn't even get more than a game there before he, blows up his knee. Just recently, he's catching form. He's coming from a very good 2024 season, and injury after injury, shoulder, knees, and toes. I mean,
Uh,
everything that you can think of has held them back. So right now, I think that Jordan Morris just wants to stay healthy, wants to be successful in his own team, and I think that's priority number one. Everything else is extra. Everything else is not necessary. I'm not going to put that sort of expectations on him, and I don't think he would on himself put that out there. I think Jordan Morris will continue to be in MLS, be successful here, and that is good for him. I think that's good enough for him. I don't think that if we were to talk to him, he's obviously it's always in the back of your mind to make that step in Europe and have that opportunity, but I don't think it's at the top of his priorities right now.
Yeah, and Dell obviously hoping that he wouldn't be another Landon Donovan, but right now just too many injuries, and it's coming at the worst possible times to have these kinds of things happen for Jordan. And we'll see how he continues here in Major League Soccer when he gets back to 100%. All right, it's that time. Cliffhanger. And cliffhanger. There are some matchups here where we would recommend like watching other things, like paint drying or seeing, if you wanted to, I don't know, baste a turkey for Thanksgiving already here in the month of August. Go ahead and start now. Put cement on your driveway and go over all of the cracks just to kind of make sure that traveling in and out of your driveway and getting out of your garage can be a safe thing to do. There are a couple of those matchups this week. You can kind of guess which matchups those are. We will not be talking about those matchups. Couple of matchups are intriguing, and I'm not going to say that Messi and Friends in LAG is one of those. I think that LAG might be running into a buzzsaw, and if Messi and Friends are mad, Luis Suarez might be putting on another cowboy hat and getting on another brace. They're a minus 185. It could be a very long day for Greg Vanney on Saturday night. Red Bulls and Philly. They played last night in the Open Cup, and it went 90+8. I know that there's also we got to keep an eye on the injury for AJ Marcucci, who had turned into kind of an Open Cup hero for Red Bulls and had gotten some spot starts for Carlos Coronel to give him a breather. They're back at it at Red Bull in Major League Soccer on Saturday night, and the Juice Boxers don't care. Each team is a plus 156. They're just kind of like, you pick it, do whatever. Draws a plus 252. So it's for the second time in 4 days. These two teams will be playing each other in a different format in a different tournament. What do you think about this one at Red Bull in Harrison, New Jersey, sir?
I'm still taking Philadelphia. Red Bull started the game off hot. Obviously, they rotated. It wasn't the best team to start off. I thought Carmona had a baller of a game. I'm not just talking about the banger he had, but I thought that he was very good overall. But at the end of the day, it's all about concepts. It's all about the team that, to me, has the highest floor because they understand their system and they're going to work off of the counter, and they're going to be extremely vertical. They're going to play defense with a lot of pressure. Despite Glesnes having a horrendous game, in my opinion, I thought Glesnes was bad against the Red Bulls in this Open Cup game. But even there, I feel like Philadelphia understand and knows how to play the Red Bulls. And sure, Forsberg's going to make a difference, and Motochop is going to, Choupo-Moting is going to make a difference, just as he did in this one as soon as he came on the field. I feel like Philadelphia is where I would put my eggs in that basket. I do think that it won't be as high scoring as this one, but I think that Philadelphia will end up taking that game.
All right, let's go to yours. Seattle at Minnesota. Seattle is a plus 210 dog going to Minnesota. Minnesota coming off of the loss to Colorado at home a week ago. Draws a plus 257. Minnesota's a plus 116. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I'm taking the draw. The numbers were interesting to pick the Sounders because they are obviously in very good form. But the way I look at this game with Puebla being the most important game for the Seattle Sounders because they want to get that opportunity to get a spot in Champions Cup, of course. They want to be able to continue that run in Leagues Cup. That's going to be the priority. I do feel like Seattle is going to try some of the things that Colorado did to take Minnesota off their own game. I don't know if you saw that game, but Colorado just conceded possession in Minnesota, and they said, "Look, you're the kings of counter. How
Mhm.
about we try it?" Right? So
Well,
it
I
was a
mean,
little.
this is it reminds me of when Atlanta United played Red Bulls in the playoffs and basically told Chris Armas, "Look, fine. You don't want possession, but we're going to give it to you anyway. We're just going to kick it long and have you build. Look, ball. You think the ball's got cooties now? You're going to have to play with it, and you're going to have to build with it." And it turned out to be a tactical error by Armas in that match. Atlanta United gets a lead, and everything's fine. So Atlanta United flipped the script on Armas once before to do something like that. So the irony was interesting for me that you mentioned. Armas is just kind of like, "Well, Loons, you don't like possession? Well, here we're going to we're going to force you to possess the ball and go for it."
I think Seattle will do the exact same thing. They're gonna play defensively. They have the weapons to do so. They could definitely, probably, maybe even mirror them a little bit. Maybe play with three in the back, and use their high motor guys to make it difficult for Minnesota to one, be comfortable enough, be able to beat them off the counter, expose the flanks, try to get behind their back line at moments and times. But I feel like Seattle is really going to concede possession. So to me, it's not necessarily their game. They're a possession based team, but I like the nuance of what we just talked about, kind of flipping the script. But I still think that it's going to be more of a draw in this one. I don't feel confident enough to put Seattle in that range of winning the game. I mean, it wouldn't shock me, it wouldn't surprise me, but I feel safer with the draw in this one.
All right, Atlanta's at Colorado right now. Colorado a plus 117. Atlanta's a plus 191. Draws a plus 280. What about Atlanta on the road?
Yeah, no, I like Colorado.
Heavy sigh. I like Colorado.
Yeah, man, that's tough. I think Colorado just has the weapons. I love what we're getting out of Navajo. Yappy seems to be also getting into form. The midfield for Colorado, when they're at their best, because they do tend to not be consistent, but when they're at their best, Colorado is just a better collective unit right now. Atlanta, as much as they have I have a soft spot for Atlanta, but I just don't think that right now they have the. It's not even the talent. It's just they don't have the current form to beat a team like Colorado. With Colorado, you're going to have to be able to restrict them. You're going to have to make them play your game and follow your tempo. And I feel like that's something that we haven't seen out of Atlanta. And that's why I just don't think that they can do this one. I don't know what the numbers are here, but I would say it's probably going to be a low scoring game and Colorado wins the game.
All right. So, news out of New England. It is right at 11 o'clock. New England has waived Maxi Urruti and Luis Diaz this morning. Urruti, 34, 2 goals over 20 matches, including 5 starts. Diaz, 26, 19 matches, 1 start, 1 assist. So, New England trying to do a little housekeeping before there's a week left in the window. So, the Reds waiving.
Somebody will pick up Urruti. Everybody needs a Urruti cameo.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
everybody, he just has a way to get in everywhere. He's like light, he's always getting in somewhere.
No doubt about it. All right, what's going on with you and Pulso Sports and Sounder at Heart and the Providence and Swedish sandwich shop and delicatessen? What's going on this week?
Yeah, we will be back there here in probably an hour, just to see where the team is at. I'm very curious about where Joe Paulo is mentally, physically. I did get to talk to him a little bit off the mics yesterday. He seems to be in good spirits, but I'm ready to see him there on the field. I want to know what's going on with the Stephen Fry and Andrew Thomas situation. As much as Andrew has been very good, I still think that this is Steph's team and he needs to be in there unless he doesn't want to. And that's I don't know. We haven't had a chance to talk to Steph. He looks like he's ready to go. He's been practicing, but is there something that maybe is keeping him from the field? We'll look into that. So today, definitely check out Pulso Sports. We'll have whoever we're able to talk to. I am working on a little one-on-one with Pedro de la Vega just to check on him as well. The moment he's on, he's been balling out of control, but he hasn't had the easiest transition to Molester to the Sounders. So go ahead and wait for that. So as always, Friday, it's what we learned this week with Jeremiah O'Shan. Check that out at Sandra Hart and the No Sabietes and the Sandra Hart Podcast Network. On Monday, of course, we'll do Lobby's Culture Kickoff with our Leland Wall, and then everything that comes about today, of course, at Pulso Sports. And hey, man, make sure that we hit up some of these games, man, because we've been pretty good, at least with the Sounders. We've been very good. I did very well, if I may say so myself, taking the Sounders and taking the 3.5 there last weekend. And so, we're in there.
You are in there without question, sir. As always, it's always great to wrap up our Thursdays with you and find out what's on your brain and get the education about everything going on out there in the Western Conference, where the West Coast is the best coast. At least that's what I was growing up to see. Oh, he's got the Wazoo mug. He's ready to go. And college football season just around the corner, too. We got to keep an eye on what's going on in the Palouse. As always, my friend, love you very much. We will catch up with you soon. Have a great week, and may everything stick to the discs and the cards and all the stories come out right. We'll see you soon.
My man.
All right. And there goes Nigo Moreno from Pulso Sports on his second cup of coffee.